Tensions are rising in the Strait of Hormuz. Are Iran's kamikaze drones a real threat to the massive floating fortresses of the US Navy? These days, everyone has the same question on their mind. Can these multi-billion-dollar US aircraft carriers actually be sunk? We aren't just talking about a ship here. These vessels are a display of diplomatic power, a fluting airbase. But do you know how a 100-year-old rivalry between the Army and the Navy changed the fate of these giants? This is WarSpective, and today we're taking a billion-dollar tour. World War I had just ended, and military authorities were still insisting battleships are the masters of the seas. But one man looked at the sky and saw something completely different. Brigadier General Billy Mitchell. Mitchell claimed that the era of clumsy battleships was over and that the future would rise on wings. According to him, a plane costing a few $1,000s could send a multi-million-dollar floating fortress to the bottom of the ocean. The Navy admirals just laughed. To them, planes were nothing more than toys used for observation. After Mitchell's relentless persistence, a test was authorized in 1921, known to history as Project B. The Navy gave Mitchell a sinkable target, the German battleship Ostfriesland, a relic from the Great War that was considered unsinkable. The rules set by the Navy were strict and designed for the planes to fail. But Mitchell broke the rules. On July 21st, Mitchell's Martin NBS-1 bombers dropped massive bombs, not directly on the ship's hull, but right next to it. Mitchell used the scientific fact that water cannot be compressed. When the bombs exploded alongside the ship, the resulting water hammer effect cracked the hull like an eggshell. The Ostfriesland sank in just 21 minutes. The observers on the flagship were in total shock. An era was coming to an end. Mitchell passed away in 1936, never living to see his vision become a reality. Then, December 7th, 1941, exactly what Mitchell had warned about years ago finally happened. Hundreds of planes taking off from Japanese aircraft carriers turned the massive American battleships at Pearl Harbor into scrap metal in a matter of seconds. Mitchell's thesis that planes can sink ships had been proven in the most painful way possible. From that day on, the US built its entire strategy around aircraft carriers. Those giant ships that make the world tremble today were actually the dream of that stripped-rank rebel. You will never see a US aircraft carrier alone in the middle of the ocean. It is like the king at the center of a massive defensive shield. This armada, known as the Carrier Strike Group, is typically protected by 4 to 6 Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers and a Ticonderoga-class cruiser. These ships can track hundreds of targets simultaneously using the Aegis air defense system. But the real protection lies in the depths. Accompanying the group from below is a Hunter-Killer class nuclear submarine, lying in ambush to neutralize any underwater threat before it even reaches the carrier. The ship's deck is the world's busiest and most dangerous airport. Here, the primary striking force consists of F/A-18 Super Hornets. However, the true star of the modern era is the F-35C, a stealth fighter specifically designed for carrier operations. At the heart of these vessels lie 2 A-1B nuclear reactors. Thanks to this technology, the ship can sail at 30 knots for 20 to 25 years without ever stopping and without taking in a single gram of fuel. But while nuclear energy moves the ship, it cannot feed the 5,000 personnel on board, nor can it fly the jets. Inside, there are thousands of tons of JP-5 jet fuel and a massive ammunition depot. Even though the ship has unlimited range, it must resupply every few days from logistics ships for food, spare parts, and most importantly, fuel for its aircraft. Throughout history, the greatest nightmare of aircraft carriers hasn't been the sky, but the silence beneath the waves. Most of the carriers sunk during World War II met their end at the bottom of the ocean due to torpedoes launched by stealthy submarines. Even today, the world's most advanced defense systems cannot stop everything lurking underwater. The most shocking example of this happened in 2005. A small, silent Swedish submarine called the HSMS Botland managed to bypass all the defensive shields of the $6 billion USS Ronald Reagan and slipped right alongside it. In the exercise, virtual torpedoes sank the ship. This event sent a massive shockwave through the US Navy because a multi-billion-dollar strike group had been neutralized by a submarine 20 times cheaper. Sometimes, you don't even need an outside attack to sink a carrier. In 1967, during the Vietnam War, the events on the deck of the USS Forrestal proved just how delicate these giants are, like a ticking time bomb. It all started with a simple electrical malfunction in an F-4 Phantom jet. This glitch caused a Zuni rocket to fire on its own. The rocket slammed into another fuel-laden aircraft directly across from it. In seconds, the deck turned into a living hell. The problem wasn't just the jet fuel. As the fire grew, old, heat-sensitive bombs from World War II began to cook off. While firefighting teams were battling the flames, these bombs exploded one by one. The result was a total catastrophe. 134 sailors lost their lives, 161 were injured, and America's most modern aircraft carrier nearly went to the bottom. This tragedy showed the world the ultimate weakness of carriers. A ship filled with tons of explosives and thousands of gallons of flammable fuel can turn into a massive oven with just a single spark.
Today, new dangers have emerged. Aircraft carriers are kings of the open ocean, but when they enter narrow, shallow waters like the Strait of Hormuz or the Red Sea, their maneuverability is strangled. This is where asymmetric warfare takes over. Cheap coastal anti-ship missiles, naval mines, and the latest threat, $2,000 kamikaze drones. A single drone might not sink 100,000 tons of steel, but by turning that famous flight deck into a potato field, it can transform a billion-dollar vessel into a useless piece of floating metal. In the world's most critical choke points today, there is a strange equation shaking military strategy to its core. On one side, the pinnacle of technology, a $13 billion US aircraft carrier. On the other side, kamikaze drones from Iran costing just a few $1,000s. To stop these cheap threats, the US Navy is forced to fire missiles that cost nearly $2 million each. This isn't just a military struggle, it is a massive war of economic attrition. Let's be clear, a single drone sending a 100,000-ton floating fortress to the bottom of the sea is nearly impossible. But the real danger isn't the ship sinking, it's the ship becoming mission-killed. If one of these cheap drones damages the sensitive radar systems or scars the flight deck, this billion-dollar giant becomes vulnerable and ineffective in the middle of the ocean. In modern warfare, taking a weapon out of the game is just as big a victory as destroying it entirely.
So, what do you think? What will be the place of these massive ships in the naval wars of the future? Will billion-dollar technology prevail? Or will it be the $1,000 asymmetric attacks? Let's meet in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to WarSpective and like the video for more content on military technology and global strategy. Creating these videos involves a long process of animation and editing, and as a team, we put in a tremendous amount of effort. That's why your likes and subscriptions are incredibly important to support our new channel. Thank you so much for your interest and for watching. See you in the next video.